Good evening.
Hey, Prayesh.
Hey, Mehul, thank you very much for taking the time to do the testimonial. Again, we are really excited about your admissions to the Berkeley Haas program, and we are here to mainly talk about that journey from not having known, how to go about all the details of the applications to actually completing that journey, doing your interview, and now finally securing that admit. So maybe if you can just start by having our audience get to know you a little bit better, if you can just introduce yourself, your profile, and your scores, GPAs, GRE, GMAT,
Right.
whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, so my name is Mehul Bachani. I currently work as an AI application engineer for a company called ARM here in Bay Area, California. So we do provide like compute solutions for edge AI applications and for like cloud-based data center solutions. I've been working in the semiconductor industry and in the semiconductor space for past 3 years, prior to which I was doing master's from Colorado State University with majors in embedded machine learning and VLS system design. Fortunately, I tend to kind of have my GPA over 3.4, so it kind of I didn't have to go through the GMAT struggles, right? So I think that was one of the things that definitely helped throughout having a good GPA in my grad school. And I did my undergrad in Bachelor's of Technology back in DTU in back in Delhi. So coming from, I'm originally from Delhi and then moved to United States for my higher education. And pursuing MBA was like a no-brainer for me. I think having like an adequate engineering experience, I do want to kind of take eventually some leadership, product-centric roles for which I need to kind of develop some business mindset and perspective towards seeing a particular problem. So yeah, that's
Well,
my
thank you
background.
so much for that. And you were absolutely right, right? Like when you came to us, I think, and you spoke to me for the first time, I remember the technical background, the technology background, of course, was excellent. You had some high visibility projects that you were a
Right.
part of both in your previous work and in your current role. And that was your strongest point. You also had mentors who had been uh, to Berkeley Haas as well, right? And who were also
Right.
guiding you and encouraging you to apply to the program, given the
Right.
trajectory that they saw. But what were your initial thoughts, right? Like, did you feel like you were absolutely ready? Did you have some doubts in your mind? What are the kind of
Yeah.
concerns you felt before you enrolled with us for consulting?
Yeah, I think one of the major, like one of the biggest things in my mind was I think like most people who pursue part-time MBA, especially for like a program like Berkeley has, I was just thinking, am I too young for it? Because I'm 27 years old with like 3 years of experience, right? And the most people I'm seeing the class right now who got admitted, like average age is like maybe like early 30s to like mid 30s, right? With the people with like a lot of experience than me. But I feel like one of the main things that I hold a strong ground was like exposure to a lot of big challenges and big projects over my 3 years of my work experience. So I had a really good exposure to a lot of higher stakes project, which eventually kind of gave me a confidence that I think, this is the time where I can eventually put more effort. And I think MBA sounded right for my decision. But I think like with definitely, I didn't know how the application and what the process is for like a public Ivy League. So yeah, I think one of the major things was just that I feel like I was a little too young for a
Okay.
MBA program for a public Ivy. So
No, but once you started the process, right? Because the grad school process that you went through for your master's, the SOP was one element, which is
right.
very different from asking a lot of these self reflection type questions in the MBA application journey. How did you feel, you benefited from some of the specific aspects of the consulting support that you got from us?
Yeah, I think definitely the application process was a bit different because I think I went through my own application process when I was applying for my grad school, right? But as compared to, I'm not sure if it's only for an MBA, but especially when you're targeting like a elite schools, like having like a very strong personal statement is really important, right? So I think that was something that I feel LilacBuds and Priyesh kind of really helped me to kind of brought that out because I feel like most of these schools or prestigious schools doesn't, I mean, I definitely understand the academic part and your grades are, part of your application, but like who you are and your personality stands out more. So I feel I think one of the greatest help that I had was to kind of highlight and have a story of who I am and like show it in a really nice way so that, like that I am a right fit for that particular program was something that I feel that was like a strong point for me going for
Correct.
that. Like,
And absolutely. And then going back and forth on those essay points, when you wrote your essays,
right,
we used to iterate back on which
right,
part of the content really showed your strengths and showed your accomplishments in the right way to, highlight that even though you're a younger candidate, you've taken higher order responsibilities within the role. You've been part of business facing discussions and tried to, push the revenue front of your company also forward through the
right.
products and through the solutions that you guys were building together. So talk a little bit about, what the essay writing experience was for you working with us again. What specific aspects of the essays really worried you or you were not sure about, but you felt like now you move towards a better essay or a better application
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, I think I would say that, I feel that the two essays that we worked on are my professional statement. I think how we portrayed my certain projects that kind of gave me a huge exposure to like whatever like huge decision making or even like team management that I've done over past 3 years and the reflection like into the words that definitely kind of helped me a lot. But I feel like the major thing that I feel that really stood out for me was the personal statement. I feel like, like we kind of discussed at a very early time that I come from a core athletic background. I do want to portray my struggle into words that I don't think like the first draft that I had, I didn't feel any emotions coming out of those first essay, right? So I feel showing that emotion and my journey throughout my childhood and how I am right now in the industry and how I'm doing was something that was really helpful. And I feel like that eventually, like I feel like these schools do look for like a personality over grades. And I mean, I feel that's what the program is all about is finding the right candidate, right? So I feel personal statement and professional statement highlighting what are my strong points and what are the things that I'm lacking, right? Because I think there should be constructive criticism as well in your work life. So highlighting those points and then showing like where the things that I'm good at was something that I feel was you guys helped me a lot with that. So
Yeah, and I
putting a story
remember,
in words is something that I think I struggled initially, but for which
yes,
I got
and
some.
we had like this whole part of your story which was focused around cricket because cricket was
Yeah,
such an important part of your life. And I
right,
remember using some metaphors related to cricket through the
right,
essays itself, right? That
right,
were, trying to bring out your personal interests along with, of course, your professional wins
right,
and balancing the two of them completely. All right, in terms
right,
of goals, like the goal setting, because goals was another very critical part of both the
right.
application as well as, your interview process. What about what were your like? Did you have clarity on those goals? How did those goals get retweaked later on based on discussions?
Yeah, I think I did had a certain ambitions in my mind. I think that's why I wanted to kind of pursue an MBA. So I did had a clear picture, but I think the major thing is how you kind of portray those goals in right words, right, and with the right emotions. So I don't think I was lost in terms of what I want to do and why I'm doing this MBA, but I think uh, putting what I wanted and why I'm pursuing MBA as to why this particular program and why Berkeley Haas. So like for me, it's always been maybe like a product marketing or maybe like taking a product leadership roles, like more product centric and understanding like business analytics and how a product alignment, product roadmap, and product strategies can help. Because like every day there's like especially in the field of AI, right, where like there's solutions coming like so fast and so like in no time. So you need to kind of understand like what products and where to kind of position them, what are their use cases, right? So I feel like the goal for me pursuing an MBA was always known, but I think explaining that why was really important for me. So
Correct.
I think, yeah, so I think, yeah, I think that explains as to Good
Okay,
question.
cool. And in terms of you interacted with the admissions team both pre the process started and during
Yeah.
the process as well. What was your interaction with the admissions team like, and how did that influence any aspect of your application?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I definitely met the admissions team, I think a couple of times. I don't know if, I mean, I think I at one point of time I met a couple of folks in a like a career fair that
Mhm.
was like pretty basic, so I couldn't get much out of it. But I think one of the really good opportunity, I think Berkeley, I think Haas had these monthly webinars that they like post online on their website. I think that those are quite useful. I don't know if I you'll stand out or not, or if they help me or not. But I think they definitely kind of give you some sense of what kind of people that they're looking for this particular program. So that definitely, helped me to kind of align with my essays or letter of recommendations or eventually the entire application process. I think so. Those webinars before applying kind of gave me like some sense of feeling as to what the application process is and
Yes, I mean, that's
yeah.
one thing that we in fact recommend every applicant, Mehul, is that they try to attend these info sessions because you get a perspective of how the admissions team is thinking about candidates as well, right? What
Right.
factors weigh higher, what factors are they going to consider? And based on that, you could tweak your entire application content or strategy around that, right?
Right.
Some people are being advised wait it out till round two, you might have a better shot. Some people advise, why don't you,
Yeah.
talk about this element of your application because in some cases, you could also share your CV and do a one-on-one call, not in Berkeley, but in other
Yeah.
schools where they do allow one-on-one engagements as well. Those are all very critical aspects of knowing your fit. And if you
Yeah.
are, one of the things is because you are applying to only one school year, right? You're not looking to apply to any other school in California, no UCLA, no Stanford, no nothing else because of your own personal reasons, of course, you're working already in the Bay Area, you wanted to be in the Bay Area as well. Um, so keeping those elements in mind, we only applied to Berkeley and you got in, but for others, it was, for when you're applying to multiple schools, you want to know which is the right fit for you as well,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Right.
and
Right.
where would you kind of, find your kind of crew that you will gel
Right.
along with?
Right.
Uh, so going to the next question, right? Like in terms of you, if you had to give one piece of advice to somebody who's now applying to Berkeley, what are the things that you would tell them to keep in mind when they're going through their application?
Yeah. I mean, so not gonna lie, things have been a little easy for me. I mean, I'm kind of blessed to kind of say that, but like after like I think last week was my virtual induction at Berkeley Haas, and I had some chance to kind of talk to other people, and I mean, people have been applying for past 3 years, right?
Okay.
So I think that I don't have any like I mean, I wish I had a struggle story that I can share here, and I think things have just flown in a really good way. Thanks to Pressure for that. But I feel like, especially like, I would say that for Berkeley Haas, things are a bit competitive. I didn't know that. Like, when people, I heard people's like GMAT scores are definitely, I don't, if you don't have a 3.5 or GPA in your master's or whatever grad program you have before, I feel like GMAT is a really important because I think people are having like 760 out of 780 and they're still getting rejected out of Berkeley. So GMAT score is really important. And I feel like, like just be plain about who you are. I feel showing a right personality is something that is really important in any application. It's not like a 3,000 word statement of purpose here, right? It's you only get a fixed amount of words for each. You have to kind of have three essays. So I feel like portraying emotion as well as your story and what you have accomplished over the past years or whatever work experience you have is really important. I feel that kind of stands you out in a lot of applicants. And I feel like, I was like, as I told earlier, I think one of the main things that I had in my mind was, am I too young for this program? But looks like I think they want people who are like little driven in their life to kind of,
Yes.
put some efforts into what they want. So yeah, I mean, it's the grit and the strength that you want to show for these programs that will let you in. So yeah.
Super. And then the last question from me, what was it like to receive that admit email and open it and saying congratulations, you got in? What was that
Yeah.
like, right? Because we did follow up a couple of times saying, hey, did we get the result? Did we get the result? Even, that anxiety
Yeah.
comes in even for us as consultants, like, what's up with you? But what was it like for you? Like, I did, share that emotion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a huge story. I mean, I actually forgot my decision was the day of January 9th because of the work thing. So like I'm usually like a calm person. For me it's always been like I am either gonna go to Berkeley Haas or it's not gonna be anything, right? So it
Okay.
was like make it or break it for me, but I think um I was like if it happens, I'm gonna be happy about it. And if it doesn't happen, it's not like my life's gonna end, right? So I think I definitely felt happy after getting the uh, admit. But I think the bigger thing is to kind of get through the entire MBA program. I think that will be even more sweeter, right? But that I think I was definitely happy with the admit. Having Berkeley Haas on your resume is a really prestigious thing, and
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lifetime badge of honor, honestly, I think,
yeah,
that you always wear because one, you're part of a club that will give you access to places where you haven't had access to yet because of
right.
even though you're in the Bay Area, you're at ARM. Remember, our circle is that much and it really expands when you enter a business school, and you got to make sure that it expands by attending some of those events
Yeah,
and the networking opportunities that you'll get there because that really sets the tone because I mean you're in one of the biggest hubs of innovation and venture capital and technology growth that's happening. So being there and making the most of that network will really sharpen your own thinking and thought process around what you want to do next, what you can accomplish next. And
right.
moving from that technical, the pivot from the technical leadership to business leadership requires that time, right? You're going to put in the next 2 years plus into this engagement and activity, both pre-joining the program, post-joining the program. Those years will really make you grow in ways that you haven't yet anticipated. And I think, from all the people who've been there before, you might have heard good stories, but until you don't live those stories yourself, you don't
Yeah,
meet some new people yourself, it always feels like, yeah, I know I have good things coming in store, but you got to go grab some of those good things that are coming in store. They're not just
yeah,
going to come to you
absolutely.
because you're there on
Yeah.
campus. You got to go still grab them, and again, that motivation that you already have in your own workplace, you got to translate that into the classroom as well.
Yeah, I think Admit was definitely sweet, but I think being on the campus on July 24th would be even more sweeter. So I'm waiting for, that day. So
Waiting for that day. Super. Awesome. Thank you, Mehul, for taking the time once again. Lovely chatting with you. Of course, wishing you all the best. Stay in touch. Don't
thank you.
forget about,
Absolutely,
keeping us
absolutely.
updated on what's happening on campus. And if you meet
Yeah,
anybody else who did land up getting their Berkeley admits, you know whom they'll contact right
absolutely.
through you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
All
will
right.
do. Will do.
Perfect. Thank you so much, buddy. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you for all the help, Rish. I think you kind of made this process really easy for me. So, like especially with like working folks, you kind of tend to kind of miss some of the things, right? So thanks for helping me throughout. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. Bye.